sort of prefaced everything by saying that 24 hours is a very short period of time, and in fact we had to sleep, so it was more like operating in about 12 hours or so. But nonetheless, we were able to pull out some pretty quality stuff as far as it goes. Consider for a second, though, that none of this is really binding, but these are rather sort of notions that were worked out by us on relatively short notice, and I'm by no means making excuses. But certainly the first thing that we were talking about is obviously this courtyard space that has the capacity to provide a safe, secure, and in fact, one of the more kind of magical sort of spaces available at this school, and kind of perfect for sort of intimate learning and group work using the younger students in a kind of contained environment where they can't get into too much trouble. Their instructors can keep an eye on them, and they don't run the risk of getting squashed by the older kids, because that's something that we encounter time and time again, this sort of user dialectic between sort of community use versus student use, sort of after school use versus during school use, and then the sort of all-important notion of having the younger students and the older students occupying the same space. I think K through 8 is a pretty remarkable sort of diaspora that you create through something like that. I mean, the difference between a 4-year-old and a 12-year-old is unreal. So, if we can kind of cultivate spaces that cater to specific age groups, and that's something that I think that we should really consider. Right now, with regards to the Victoria's Garden, it's not in the best state, but we are in talks right now where we're coming up with, more comprehensive sort of design plans for this area so that we can provide a safe, sustainable, and more than anything, an educational space for the students. Callie, who has left today, included some really neat stuff, including sort of raised platforms. I mean, the one kind of amenity that does exist in that back area are those mature trees. And I think that we would be remiss to not take advantage of that in terms of creating maybe sort of elevated platforms, almost a treehouse type vibe up there, because this is just a really fine opportunity to do something like that. And having been a kid at one point in my life, I know that it's the type of space that I myself would really like to occupy, even today. So if we could go on to the next slide. Oh, so we were talking a lot. One of the things that our organization and Mike and I and a bunch of us are really interested in is sort of the vertical gardening, green wall sort of phenomenon as it takes place right now, because we have, especially in cities, a tremendous opportunity to take advantage of our vertical surfaces. One of the things that we encounter here, obviously, like if we were just talking about any building in general and you were to say, what would you do to improve it, you would probably want to reference a green roof, and then maybe trying to integrate vegetation into the facade cladding. However, when you're dealing with like a CPS structure or something like that, you have to be very careful when you're dealing with the actual structural things, and most of the time they say, you can't do that. So we've thought of other ways in which to integrate this vertical greening scheme in order to kind of provide some of the functions that you guys made reference to. In reference to perhaps sort of dumpster site. This is an area that surprisingly gets high traffic because you've got younger students coming out of this space who are traversing the dumpster zone in order to make their way to the playground. So anything that we can do to sort of screen that and improve those functions is going to be great. Here we have an instance where the drawing kind of makes use of what is existing, but one of the things that we have sort of in mind conceived is creating something that's more like a fully vegetated cube, even with a top on it, so it becomes sort of an architectural feature for the school and fully vegetated so that maybe you can block some of the sunlight that